In the BALMS process, the framework that we're using for implementing specific therapeutic interventions, the B, of course, stands for breath work. The A stands for awareness and grounding exercises. Now, these are central exercises in the practice of experiential somatic therapy. There's one thing I want you to hang on to here, though, that I think is super important, and that is do not be underwhelmed by the simplicity of this as to the profound effects that it can elicit. Awareness and grounding techniques are a set of strategies and a set of tools that we can bring into our therapy sessions that can have all kinds of benefits to the clients that we're working with. One of the chief things is that it reconnects the mind and body when that duality has been created by separating the emotions and the thoughts from the experiences that we're having. Grounding and awareness exercises can help reconnect this and to create the unity that we're striving for. The second thing that awareness and grounding exercises can do is it becomes a pattern interrupt. By engaging in a process of grounding or engaging in an awareness pattern or a behavior that helps us to focus on our awareness, what we're doing is we're stopping, we're interrupting distressing thoughts. We're bringing attention to the present moment. And yes, grounding and awareness exercises are mindfulness practice as well. So what's the next thing that it does for our clients? It helps to regulate the nervous system. If we want to calm the limbic system, if we want people to be able to take emotional control over their physical experiences, awareness and grounding exercises are definitely a tool for doing that. And then, of course, it interrupts negative patterns. These are the repetitive, unconscious negative patterns that clients engage in on a day-to-day basis. Maybe they come from a cognition, the thought that I can't do anything right, and so they fail to strive towards finding a resolution or finding a completion that can be beneficial to them. Or maybe they think I'm not worthwhile, so they act in ways that are self-destructive and unworthy. These are unconscious patterns of behavior that people have, and awareness and grounding activities can literally put a break. So when we're working with a client, how would we go about creating or utilizing awareness and grounding exercises? One of my favorite techniques is a technique that's been taught for years. This is something that Betty Erickson, who is a nurse, Milton Erickson's daughter, also a hypnotist, taught to her clients. And so I learned this in the context of hypnotherapy and the practice of hypnosis. But apart from hypnosis, it can be utilized by any therapist, by any coach, by any mentor, really anybody who's working with people to help them be fully present in the moment and to accomplish these things, setting aside the ruminations of yesterday, the fears of tomorrow, breaking the unconscious self-destructive patterns of behavior. And the 5-4-3-2-1 grounding process has long been one of my favorite techniques. I just taught this to a client I was working with about 3 weeks ago. That client came back to me the next week and said, wow, that grounding exercise, I used it several times since our last session, and it was truly helpful to me. They came back, again, unsolicited comments to the second session, or the second session after that, and said, oh my gosh, it's been wonderful. My life has changed. So please do not underestimate the power of this simple grounding tool. Most of us and most of our clients spend their life going through the various scenarios without much awareness of what's happening with them physically, what's happening with them emotionally, unless they become fixated on something, and on what's happening to them and how their behaviors impact and affect the people in the world around them. I'm convinced that most people, whether they actually have a cell phone in their hand and are walking around reading the internet on their phone, are actually walking around like that even without the phone, without a lack of awareness. See, most of the time our brains are scanning the past to help us to predict crisis events in the future, or looking ahead to see what the outcomes of our previous experiences are going to lead us to. The problem with this is that, well, in ancient days it helped us to avoid being eaten by a saber-toothed tiger. We miss the power of the present and the power of the moment. And when we practice and when we rehearse techniques or exercises that can help ground us and bring us to the present moment fully, we can create these connections that are valuable to us. So how does the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 process works? Real simple. We have 5 senses. We actually have more than 5 senses. We have 9 senses that Maria Montessori identified, and probably more. But we're going to focus on the big 5, the 5 that everybody learned in 2nd grade science: sight, sound, touch, taste, smell. These are the 5 senses. And this is a really a sensorial focused exercise. So it begins by asking a client to sit in the chair or to lie on the floor. That's fine. And just to be fully present, to bring themselves to their awareness as they exist in this moment. And to look with their eyes around the room where they are and to identify 5 things they can see. Yes, this is random. In my case, paper towels, a ring light for the video, a marker board, a fish tank, a microphone. It doesn't matter what 5 things they identify. It also doesn't matter if they speak this out loud or simply identify these things. So if I'm doing a hypnosis session with someone, I might say, go ahead and open your eyes and just look around the room and find 5 things that you can identify, right? And they might not give me verbal feedback. They might just sort of nod and look, and I might simply say to them, have you identified those 5 things? Great. Go ahead and close your eyes down again. Now, if I'm not doing a hypnosis session, it's very easy for my clients to tell me exactly what it is that they see. So they might say, I see the plastic brain model over there on the office shelf, and I see the Princess Diana Beanie Baby on the decorative shelf, and I see the sport jacket you were wearing earlier on the edge of your chair. That's fine as well. But I want them to identify 5 things that are with them in the present moment. At that point, I'm going to have them close their eyes down, whether this is a hypnosis session or not, because that allows them really to turn inward for the other sensorial experiences. With their eyes closed, I'm going to ask them to identify 4 sounds that they can identify in their experience right now. Again, this is a pretty interesting thing because most of us think, well, the room is quiet. But the room where I am in right now is not quiet. There's actually a fan from a computer over here. I can actually hear my dogs walking around out there. Hopefully they're not coming through the microphone. They're pretty far away from us, but I can hear those dog paws on the kitchen floor. What else can I hear? I can actually hear the sound of tinnitus. I can hear a sound from inside my own head that's a creation of my own imagination. That's the 3rd thing that I can identify. What's the 4th sound that I can hear? I can hear the sound of my breath. What we're doing here is we're having them focus on something that they normally don't focus on. And that is, what is your experience in this present moment? Some of those things might be pleasurable. Wow, the Princess Baby Diana, I wonder if that's worth any money. They might be innocuous, like the sport coat hanging on the chair over there. There might even be something they identify that's distressing to them, a sound from outside of the window, or as I said, tinnitus, that sound from inside their own head. It's fine. This is a judgment-free zone. We're not going to attach meaning to it in this exercise. We're simply going to identify what's in the world around us. Now we're going to go to the 3rd thing. As you're fully present in this moment, identify 3 tactile sensations, 3 things you can touch. It's okay if they move their hands to do this, right? Well, I can touch the fabric of my jeans, and I can touch the cotton of my shirt. Or I feel my fingertip on the armrest of the chair. Or I feel the weight of my glasses on the temples of my head. Again, I want them to identify 3 things that they feel in this moment. The sense of tactile sensation. I can feel the floor below my feet in the chair where I fit. I can feel the weight of my ring finger, the ring on my left ring finger. I can feel the weight of my shoes as I sit in this recliner as they hang over the edge of the chair. This is what we're looking for here. We're looking for them to become aware of 3 things they can touch, or 3 tactile sensations that they can experience. The 2nd thing here, or the 4th thing on our list, but the number 2 here is 2 things you can smell. What are two things you can smell right here? Most of us go through life without paying attention to the smells around us unless there happen to be some roses on the table, or in the case of a pungent or a bad unexpected odor, we might in fact notice that, but there are smells in the room around us all the time. What are two smells that I can identify at this moment? Well, in the room where I am, this is my video room. There's actually a window behind me, but I've blocked the window so no light comes in or out, and the windows are never opened because it's very difficult to open. And, well, I like this office space. Smells a little bit musty. It smells like the windows should probably be opened. I'm going to call it must or dust. I don't even know what to label it, but I can sense that smell. What's another smell that I can smell? Although I'm not a heavy cologne user, I can actually sense the fragrance that I applied earlier this morning when I first woke up, that now appears to have a little bit of the sweat of the day mixed with it as well. Right? So this is what we're looking for, two things that you can smell. And then again, most of us don't pay too much attention to what we can taste, but even if you're not eating a sandwich, you can taste something right now. So pay attention to what it is that you can taste. Is it the onions from the burger at lunch? Is it the toothpaste from the ritual of cleaning your teeth after eating the onion burger? Is it simply dryness in the mouth? What is it that you can taste? Is it the remnants of a burp? What is the experience of what it is that you can taste at this moment? And this involves, again, all five senses in the context of mindfulness and being fully present with the five things we can see, the four things that we can hear, the three things we can touch, the two things we can smell, and the one thing we can taste. This grounding exercise brings our clients to the present moment. And I instruct my clients at any time and any place. If you feel a sense of dishevelment or a feeling of overwhelm, just take in a breath, look for five things, identify those five things: clock, dog, shoe, book, board, marker. Identify four things that you can hear: car driving by, workmen working, the sound of the air conditioner overhead, right? What's something else I can hear? An airplane flying overhead, right? A car driving by. Three things I can touch, even if I'm standing: the floor below my feet, the feeling of my feet in my socks. I can feel the weight of the cuff of my shirt on my sleeve. Unless you are drawn to pay attention to these things, we're going to go through life with an unawareness of these things. The two smells that I can smell, the taste that I can taste, and this grounding exercise is really a powerful transformation for many of my clients, despite its simplicity.